Well, when I was about 12 years old, under Pastor Anderson, I remember trying to think back on my salvation experience from being 4 or 5 years old and not really being able to remember much at all about it, and thinking this is such an important decision and I can't remember much about it, and it made me really want to settle it. So as a 12-year-old, going forward in a church service to make sure of my salvation. And that's when my Sunday school teacher at the time, Mr. Pennell, led me to the Lord that morning.
Well, in the early years when I first started attending, I wanted to work with the youth, and Ed and I were involved with the youth group, and just through discussion with the youth at a youth activity, I came to realize that I had a false sense of salvation and I hadn't been truly saved. And then later that evening, Ed led me to the Lord, and I had the privilege to get baptized again and share with the congregation that you can have a false sense of security sometimes.
I remember as a little kid playing in the dirt when the building was being constructed, and it was my dad was helping doing different things like the rafters and different things that the men of the church help with. And it's like different areas in the church carry a lot of memories for me, like that little room behind the organ. That's where Mr. Pennell led me to the Lord after a Sunday morning service. Of course, now it's a storage room. I can remember a Sunday school lesson by Jim Campbell in that little room behind the fellowship hall. I think that's a storage room now too. And those different places have still have meaning because of the things that impacted my life. Even the Awana Circle, that's the Awana Circle I played in as a young teen, and that's still the Awana Circle we're using. Maybe someday that can become a storage room too.
I would encourage everyone to get involved because it takes everyone. We all have different talents. The Lord gives us each our own talents, and we can't all do the same things. So if everyone's involved and everyone does what they can, it just makes all of the projects go smoother and just a lot more cooperation, and we're a family.
I like to serve where I'm needed. I like to serve where there's other people who can't do certain things. I love to serve in those kinds of areas that have a real need.
Well, my thing is the kids. I love watching the kids grow and learn and what they memorize, and how God can use all those little seeds in their lives to grow them.
Seems like we have a lot of kids in the sound booth running the PowerPoint, running the live stream, the soundboard. One day I looked back there, I had 3 kids in that back room. So that was a real joy to me. I just love to see our kids just anxious to serve and enjoy serving in the church.
Why they do it, it's only because of the Lord, not anything we've done. We can see that God's working. God's working in our church. He's working in our church family. And it's amazing to see how much we are growing and just how everything we're doing is, for His glory.